Tina White, some people describe you as the best magazine editor in the world, and you're only in your 30s. Can you tell us how you started your amazing career?
Well, when I was 20, still at college, I was asked to write a weekly column for a local paper. The paper had wanted me to write about famous people, you know, their wonderful lifestyles, the sort of thing people like to read about. Instead, what I did was to concentrate on people who the general public didn't know, but who had something original to say.
And you got away with it. Now, at that early stage, your family was important. How far did they influence your career choice?
My father was a film producer, and my childhood was spent around international actors and directors, so with such influences, I should have become an actress, something my father would have loved. But no, I chose to be a journalist in spite of the wishes of my family. I think the biggest influence was my school. Not so much the people, but the materials it gave me access to. The hours and hours spent at the library.
From being a journalist, you then went on to become an editor. I understand the first magazine you edited, Female Focus, wasn't much of a success.
Well, I was the editor for a year, and then I resigned, mainly because of disagreements with the owners. They were reluctant to change things because they had faith it would eventually make a profit. But when you think of it, the magazine had been losing millions of pounds a year before I became its editor. When I left, it was still losing money, but nothing like as much as previously. Also, when I took over, it was selling around 650,000 copies. That soon increased to 800,000, so it was certainly an improvement.
And now you're editing Woman's World, and you've made it the best-selling women's magazine ever. How do you make people want to read it?
For some of my competitors, the most important point is what you put on the cover of your magazine, but they forget faithful readers look beyond that. The real challenge is, how do you encourage a reader to read a serious piece? How are we going to make it an article that people want to read? You have to get their attention, and nothing does that better than a very lively, even shocking opening line.
It's said that you work very hard because you don't trust your employees.
That was the case 5 years ago when I was appointed. It almost drove me mad. I knew I had the right idea, for example, but I wasn't able to get it done because I didn't have the brilliant writers I have now, or the right staff to read all the material when it came in. I had to read everything about 6 times, and that was awful. It took me 4 years to put together the team I wanted, and it would be very unfair to say I don't trust them.
Do you sometimes worry that you might lose your fame and wealth?
Yes. When you work as an editor, you're praised today and criticised tomorrow. Of course, it would be difficult to live without all the, material comforts I'm used to, but a smaller income is something I think I could cope with. It wouldn't be the end of the world. Much more serious would be if the people I work with no longer admired my work, and most of all, I wanted to stay that way.
And what about the future?
Well, people often think I have planned my career very carefully, but in fact lots of things have happened by chance. Lots of opportunities have come my way, and I was once asked to edit a book series. As a youngster, one of my dreams was to be a writer, to write a novel that would become a bestseller and then an award-winning film. Well, it may seem silly, but I still hope that will happen one day.
Tina, thank you very much for joining us today.